Great.
Okay. It is now 6:04. We are out of closed executive session. We will reconvene the regular meeting of the Board of Education with the pledge to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Booker. Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Here.
Mr. Herrera.
Here.
Mrs. Hauck.
Here.
Ms. Maybell.
Here.
Mr. Zickert.
Here.
Before we start the regular meeting of a board, as a reminder, all board members are expected to follow our approved meeting norms and board protocol. Are there any items on the agenda any members of the board would like to amend or move at this time? Hearing none, do I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda of the regular meeting of the Board of Education on March 17th, 2025 as presented?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Mr. Diestelmeyer and Mr. Herrera. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Mrs. Hauck.
Aye.
Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Okay, we will now have a public hearing regarding District 100's budget for 25-26 school year. The budget is being amended to account for additional grant funding received from the state and federal grants in addition to individual internal movement of funds within buildings and departments to align their overall budget lines to expenses. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Okay. At this time, does any member of the public have any written or oral comments they would like to address regarding the District 100 budget for 2025-26? Hearing none, at this time, all persons desired to be heard have been given an opportunity to present oral and written testimony with respect to District 100's budget for 2025-26. Do I have a motion and a second to adjourn the public meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All right, that was Ms. Howe and Mr. Herrera. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Hauck.
Aye.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Ms. Maybell.
Aye. This concludes our public hearing of District 100's budget for 2025-26. We will now have our district celebration, starting with the 2025 Those Who Excel Award. We'd like to extend special congratulations tonight to Mike Lascola on receiving the Award of Special Recognition in the School Administrator category from the Illinois State Board of Education. Mr. Lascola is the principal at Everest High School, and we are very excited for him winning this award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're a real agenda hog tonight because next on the agenda, we would like to recognize the 2025 Golden Apple Excellence in Leadership. Once again, a big congratulations to Mike Lascola, principal of Everest High School. He is a finalist for the Golden Apple Principal of the Year Award. So, thank you. Mike does a great job out at Everest High School. We really appreciate his leadership out there and the care and emotion that he puts into his work. That is a very taxing position emotionally, and he does a great job not only with the principal aspects of that job, but just really putting his whole heart and soul into it. So we really appreciate you, Mike.
Thank you.
Now say anything, or are you good?
I just appreciate the chance to do something like this. Not all districts, not all school boards and superintendents back projects like this, and I think we are giving attention to a group of students that otherwise just get kind of lost between the cracks and in the back of the classrooms. So I just really appreciate the opportunity to be able to do a project like this.
Thanks, Mike. We do have a couple tokens of appreciation here for you, if you wouldn't mind.
You gotta go take a picture with me.
Thanks, Mike. appreciate, do you want a picture with me?
I think he should be, yeah.
I'm
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I did. It's a board recognition. Yay.
All right, last but not least, Dr. Shug.
All right, we have our board shout outs. We have Robin Berry, Vicky Dale, Teresa Rohrer, Evelyn Tamburo, Anthony Taylor, and William Ward. And come on up to be recognized. We are appreciating our amazing custodians. We want to express our deepest gratitude to our incredible custodial team. Your hard work, dedication, and kindness never goes unnoticed. Every day you help create a clean, safe, and welcoming environment for our students and staff, and we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you for your continuous efforts and for always going the extra mile. You make a difference in our school every single day. Yay.
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have Julia Tapia here?
Janine's gonna do a picture here.
Oh, good. Yes, I was gonna put our other shout out, I was gonna say, but she's not here. We love it. We love it. Thank you. Congratulations.
I just wanted to say really quick, because
Yes.
I know they're out there, is that I go to a lot of schools that don't have local custodial staffs like we do. They outsource it. We've made a very, very intelligent decision by hiring the people we do.
So Julie Tapia is not here this evening. She also has a shout out, however, for being a math teacher. It's hard work. She has a full classroom of students who may or may not always love math, but she brings her A game each and every day. Our math scores have skyrocketed, and Julie is to thank for that. So thank you also to Julie Tapia.
All right, next up we have our student council reports. Do we have anyone here from Belvedere High School? Come on up. Janine will get the podium for you and you can give your remarks. What's your name?
My name is Mark Vargas.
All right, Mark. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Alright, so my name is Mark Vargas. I'm senior class president. And some things that our school has done, so BHS has recently celebrated School Counselor Week, School Social Worker Week, School Resource Officer Appreciation Day, and World Wildlife Day with pencils for our third quarter giveaway. And then BHS is also on track to meet one of its school's goals, which is non-classroom discipline incidents. We've gone down by 30% since the past quarter. And then academically, all departments are implementing ACT prep. So the sophomore and freshmen and juniors are like in their classes, they're getting vocabulary review, practice problems and lessons, and proper rest, and how to manage anxiety and overall tests. And BHS is excited for our students to showcase their greatness on April 8th.
Thank you for being here, Mark.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone here from North High School this evening? Anyone hiding out there? Okay, all right. We'll move on to committee reports, starting with Ed Services on March 5th. I don't have anything to add or highlight from the minutes. Anyone else who was there, or does anyone have any questions? All right, hearing none. Parent Advisory Committee on March 5th. Minutes from the meeting are provided for our review. No items were brought forward from the committee for discussion or vote. Business Services Committee met on March 11th. Mr. Herrera, do you have anything to highlight or add?
Nothing new, just a
Okay.
number of items that show up on consent and then roll call.
All right, any questions for Mr. Herrera or Mrs. Armstrong? Very good. Next up is public comments. At this time, members of the public and employees of District 100 may make public comments. As a reminder, any person appearing before the board is expected to address the board only at the appropriate time and follow the directives of the board president to maintain order and decorum. Identify oneself, limit comments to 3 minutes, and conduct oneself in accordance with board policy 8:30, visitors to and conduct on school property. Anyone here for public comment this evening? All right, hearing none, we will move along to consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda any members of the board would like to take out for separate consideration? All right, hearing none, do I have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items 2 through 17 as presented?
Make the motion?
I second.
Any discussion? Before we vote, I would like to acknowledge the following donation. 17 used Samsung Galaxy tablets with protective cases from A to Z Towing / William and Laura Wishard for the Belvedere High School FCS program. Thank you for that donation. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Mrs. Haut.
Aye.
Ms. Mayville.
Aye. Okay. Next up on the agenda is our roll call agenda items. First up, we have action to approve the 2025-26 administrative contract for the PTSS SEL administrator. Do I have a motion and a second to approve this contract for Jennifer Sikora as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Herrera and Ms. Howe. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mrs. Haut.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Ms. Mayville.
Aye. Next,
Ms. Sikora is here this evening. We are very excited to have her joining us in this role. She's a veteran staff member for us that served previously as an administrator, and we really believe that this is going to be a critically important role. She's the right person to lead for it, and we're looking forward to having her serve the district in this capacity. Anything you wanted to add, Ms. Sikora?
No, I'm really excited and I appreciate the opportunity to be an administrator again for the district. I've had several roles in the district over the last 18 years. And I think this is really important work for all kids at all levels. So I'm just excited to dive in and join the team again.
We're excited to have you. Thank you.
thanks, Jen. All right. Next up, administrative salaries. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the administrative salaries for the 25-26 school year as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Herrera and Ms. Howe. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mrs. Haut.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Ms. Mayville.
Aye. Next up, do I have a motion and a second to approve the District 100 Artificial Intelligence AI document as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Herrera and Ms. Howe. Discussion, do you have any comments, Dr. Carson?
Well, I just want to share my thanks to the board for approving the work to move forward to create the committee and create the document. I want to appreciate all of our committee members. And really the purpose of this document is to outline the principles that we'll use as we work to integrate AI into our system. So we did take some time to look at the policies that we have in place as a school board and feel like we are in a good spot with those. I mean, things are going to change certainly over time, but the point was to identify the guiding principles, and then with your approval, we're going to start looking then at some systems with the committee, and we'll work to adopt a platform that our staff and students can start using then to integrate. So thank you again for the support.
Do you anticipate this being sort of a standing committee? Obviously, this, as you noted, this is an area that just changes very rapidly, so I assume this committee is going to keep meeting and keep bringing us changes as needed.
That is the intention is, yeah, we anticipate that there'll be a pulse to keep tabs on and we'll work to do that and bring you updates as needed. Yes.
Excellent. All right. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera,
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk,
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer,
Aye.
Mr. Zickert,
Aye.
Ms. Mayville.
Aye. I really would like to thank the committee that worked on this. That was a lot of work and they did a very nice job. So please extend our thanks to the members of your committee. Thank you.
And I would follow up on that and say that Dr. Carson's done an excellent job leading that work, and that this really puts us in a place that's ahead of a lot of where other districts are at this time regarding getting our heads around AI and the really important work that needs to be done in that area. So
Thank you. All right, next agenda item. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the BESA MOA for trades market value rate as presented?
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't have anything to do with the price. I mean, when we talked about this before, I voted no because I thought, unlike the custodians, which I think we're better doing in-house than outsourcing, I think this one economically it's much more fiscally responsible to outsource instead of buy in-house. So I'm not voting no for the raise or anything like that. I just feel disingenuous voting no for one and then if I did something different here. So that's why.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera,
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer,
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk,
Aye.
Mr. Zickert,
No.
and Ms. Mayville.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1. Okay, next up, District 100's budget amendment. Do I have a motion and a second to approve District 100's budget amendment for July 2nd, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Herrera?
Second.
Go
You
ahead.
can have it.
And Ms. Hauk. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera,
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk,
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer,
Aye.
Mr. Zickert,
Aye.
Ms.
Sorry.
Mayville.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Next item, do I have a motion and a second to approve Belvedere North High School's track RFP as presented?
So moved. Second.
All right, Mr. Herrera, Mr. Dieselmeyer. Any discussion, anything to add?
Yeah, for me on the track, this has been a big deal for me for quite a while now. I'm going to make this quick because I don't want, I've already talked about this probably too much before anyway. I'll vote for it because I think the kids need it and we should have done this a long time ago. I think the fact that we waited cost our taxpayers a sizable amount of money. We can debate the reasons why and why not, but I don't think that's really going to it's not productive now. I think what's done is done and we need to move forward and approve it. But I also think this is a case where I think we need to look at how this happened this time to make sure it doesn't repeat before. Because I literally think this cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars or more by waiting now instead of doing it 4 or 5 years ago, which would have been much more fiscally responsible in my opinion.
Any further discussion?
I would say it's definitely necessary for safety reasons on the track for our student athletes and those that are visiting the track as well. So yes, it's been in the making for a while. Definitely needed, if you ask me. And so, yeah, this is something certainly I would support as well.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Just to address Mr. Zickert's issue as well. Part of the discussion at Business Services on this item was the inclusion of a maintenance project. So we will start getting on a maintenance routine with this new installation so that we don't encounter these problems moving forward, and developing it. That's part of the needs assessment so we can get everything on a rotation, and this will definitely be part of that process as it was included in the bid too.
Great. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Excuse me, aye.
And Ms. Mayville.
Aye. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the open gate security detection? as-
Tennis court.
What?
Tennis court first.
Oh, I did skip over the tennis court. Sorry, sorry, Belvedere North. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Belvedere North High School's tennis court RFP as presented?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Herrera and Ms. Hauk. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
And Ms. Mayville.
Aye. Next item. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the open gate security detection as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Hauk and Mr. Herrera. Discussion. Dr. Shug, did you just want to explain briefly what this is?
Yes, essentially this is a weapons detection system or a metal detector that we would look at being able to move throughout the district on an as-needs basis. It's a mobile product. It's a through which students or staff members could pass that we would utilize, for example, if we had larger football games or events, or perhaps if there was a concern at one of our sites. We are not looking to establish a metal detector system that students or staff would pass through on an everyday basis. This would be used and moved throughout the district as need be. We are suggesting an investment in 2 of them. Again, so if we did need them, we would be able to use them as efficiently as possible, moving people through both lanes. We will pay some attention to how well these systems are used and determine if this is something that we want to look at doing more of, or if this is going to fulfill the need that we have. Obviously, student safety, staff safety is our #1 priority in the district. We think this is another proactive measure we can take to address any safety issues that we might have on our sites and help us keep our campuses safer.
Just, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's it.
I'm just curious, why, I agree with you on the safety part. I mean, I think that's our #1 priority. I mean, as much as I lament about academic progress and stuff like that, I believe this is even trumps that by more than a little. But, is there a reason we don't want to look at permanent ones? I mean, I know a lot of schools around the area have permanent ones, and they're, I wish we didn't need them. I wish we never had to talk about stuff like this. I'm realistic enough to know the times have changed, and deterrence is an effective weapon, in my opinion. So, I mean, is there? I just don't know the rationale, or maybe we are thinking about it and we're looking into it. I don't know.
Well, we had a really healthy discussion about this at Business Services as well. Our safety coordinator, Mr. Sackwell, really helped with Mr. Fry to put this proposal together. We feel like this is the first step that needs to take place, and then we can evaluate the effectiveness of this. How well does this work at our sites? How effective is it when we need to respond in a particular situation? Should it be something that we find effective and non-invasive? I think that this is something we could look at exploring further, but we really felt like it was important to pilot it, to see how it worked, to see how it was to integrate it. If we were looking at doing something on a permanent basis, again, there's a lot of additional logistics that need to be navigated. This will help us navigate any of those logistics. Additionally, there's additional staffing that would need to be moved or added to work through that. Again, that's probably something we can navigate, but we feel like this is the first step to determine if this is something we'd look to do at a larger level or a larger scale level moving forward.
And I will personally say, from the perspective of safety and law enforcement, I think metal detectors give the appearance and feeling of safety without really making anything much safer. When you have metal detectors, it sort of corrals everyone at one point, which is obviously a very inviting target for anyone who would wish to do harm. You have the amount of time it would take to get, our 1,500 kids at a high school in and out of the buildings. We've all been in airport security lines and seen how that goes. If someone is intent on getting a weapon into a building, they will get a weapon into the building. That's not the politically correct thing to say, but it's flat out true. I would be strongly opposed to the district spending money on metal detectors at every school. I don't think it would keep our kids safer. I think it could lead to more attractive targets, frankly. I'm fine with having these metal detectors because I realize that sometimes we do get, rumors bubble up on social media, and if we have these 2 metal detectors we're spending money on that can make people feel a little better, and if it can make our kids feel a little safer on a day after there's been a threat, I'm just fine with that. But I would be adamantly opposed to metal detectors being installed at all of our schools. Anything further on this?
Just to reiterate what you just said, this open gate security detection system can be moved around from building to building to stadium. In my opinion, it will work as a deterrence, and it will, in my opinion, help alleviate concerns when the rumors are spotting up, when there are different threats to our students and our schools and our teachers. This is an excellent opportunity to bring this type of equipment to those buildings to give everybody a peace of mind, if you will, for that matter. So, yeah.
All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Howe.
Aye.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Next up, do I have a motion and a second to approve the transportation bid as presented?
So moved.
So
So a second.
it was me. Yeah.
Member Herrera and Member Howe. Do we have any discussion?
Well, thank you, Mrs. Armstrong, for going out and conducting the RFP. I know sometimes it can be difficult to find enough vendors to participate in this RFP, if you will, but I think we got a great solution that came back before us. And I guess, at the end of this term, not only is it the lowest bid, but I think maybe by the end of their term, they'll have the majority of the school buses up with AC. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, and so I do realize we had a heck of a time getting this agenda all together, and the attachments kept falling off. The one attachment that is not on here is where I did the cost analysis between the 2 bids. So over the 3-year difference, the first student bid was $766,982 cheaper over the 3 years, with the first year's savings alone falling at $422,000. So the first bid, first year versus third year of the competing bids were just off first year meeting the third year of the other side. So it was very cost effective. We did put a lot of effort in really defining what we wanted in this bid and things that we saw could be improvements. And so First Student really did step up to that challenge. Liddell Cass, who is their regional manager, is here today with us, but he even made a comment that he's never seen Belvedere put out such a comprehensive RFP for busing. So it took a lot of effort to get those together. The one highlight I really did want to highlight is they are providing in their bid as well a $5,000 scholarship for our students. So that was a big plus that we gained in this as well as additional training, additional options, and community involvement, which they are already immensely involved in our community, having local events for our families and the community as a whole, supporting our pets as far as our kids, as far as our families. They kind of do it all and become a real staple of our community. So I am pleased to be able to make that recommendation to move forward with them again.
And I would just, again, give some kudos to Mrs. Armstrong and her team that worked really hard to put together that RFP that is going to make a difference, as Mr. Herrera highlighted, for example, having air conditioning in all of our buses, which we know has been an ongoing need and concern that we've had, and also really asking for that additional community support. First Student did an excellent job of responding. But a big part of that also is due to Mrs. Armstrong and her team putting out a really comprehensive RFP, which is no small task. So I thought really outstanding work on that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
And Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda, do I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution providing for the issue of not to exceed $21 million general obligation school bonds, Series 2025A, and not to exceed 5 million taxable general obligation refunding school bonds, Series 2025B, of the district for the purpose of altering and reconstructing school buildings and purchasing and installing equipment therein for fire prevention and safety, energy conservation, and school security purposes, and refunding certain outstanding bonds of the district, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the proposed sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Herrera and Mr. Dieselman. Any discussion or comment from staff?
I think,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I think on this one, I mean, I'm gonna vote for it, so I'm not, I said I would before, and I haven't changed my mind on that. I mean, I think this stuff is needed. The only thing I would say is that when we first started, I don't know where to speak, I apologize. We first started talking about these things months ago. I think the environment's changed dramatically, at least in the short term, on what funding issues may or may not be in the future, what some of our tax base may or may not be in the future. So even though I'm supportive of this one, and I will vote yes, I do think we need to really take a hard second look at how things may project out in the future before we commit ourselves beyond this. I mean, I'm fine with doing this, I just get nervous about mortgaging our future generations for things things have changed lately. And they may change back. I just think we need to take a prudent look at, after we do this, as we move forward, we need to look at, based on the new circumstances, what do we think will happen, and make an educated guess on that. That's it.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next agenda item. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution authorizing and directing the execution of an escrow agreement in connection with the issue of not to exceed $5 million taxable general obligation refunding school bonds, Series 2025B, of the district as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Herrera
Second.
and Ms. Howe. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
And Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the non-reemployment resolution of end-of-year full-time and part-time temporary teachers effective the end of the 2024-25 school year as presented?
Make a motion.
All right, Mr. Diesler
Second.
and Mr. Herrera. Any discussion? Dr. Ady, this is our standard item that we do every year.
It's a standard resolution we do at the end of the year for any end-of-year positions, people we non-renew, and that type of thing. So it's standard, it's the big March
Okay.
resolution.
And oftentimes, these people will be rehired
Yes.
once we have our enrollment numbers later on. Okay, very good. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mrs. Hauk.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the non-renewal first, second, or third-year probationary teacher effective the end of the 2024-25 school year as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Ms. Howe And Mr. Herrera. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Hope.
Aye.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mr. Zicker. Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution for educational support personnel reduction in force effective the end of the 24-25 school year as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Herrera and Ms. Hauk. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mrs. Hope.
Aye.
Mr. Zicker.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
And Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Do I have a motion and a second to appoint a performance contractor for District 100?
So moved.
You're going to need a specific performance contractor in your motion, Mr. Herrera.
All right. And then we'll go to discussion, right?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve Nexus as a performance contractor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Herrera and Mr. Dieselmeyer. Discussion.
Yeah, I did, my only quick comment
Did we
is I-
want Mr. Winters
I'm
to
sorry.
speak a little bit to
Yeah,
the need
Mr.
for a
Winters, do you
performance
want to talk to
contractor?
us a little bit about what this is and why it's a good thing?
This approach by hiring a company like Nexus, we have about 110 different projects rolled into this $32 million. And some are very significant. And you think about Perry, you're pretty much taking it from the top down to the bottom. All new HVAC, multiple asbestos issues. We have 3 buildings that are going to get complete HVAC replacement. What all that means is, yes, and you buying the supplies, but it is the logistics of it. How do you keep a school open when you're doing all these projects? Therein lies the hard part of doing $32 million for the project. This approach brings us a company that has hundreds of relationships throughout the tri-state area. They can leverage all of their supply demands. They can leverage their contractors to get the best price. More importantly, they're going to give us guaranteed energy savings. They're going to stand behind their price. You're not going to see, let's say that the price of a 2x4 goes up and their cost goes up significantly. They're not going to come to us and say, well, we didn't see that the supply chain tightened up. It is also, it allows us to do our job, our day job. This is a really wide scope of projects. I mean, we're talking everything from HVAC to roofs, to some windows. There's just a plethora of things, playgrounds. Some of these items we are going to manage, but this is a fantastic approach. This is not only going to save us time, when you think about it, we have about 2 months worth of time during the summer to do a lot of the girthy work, again, on logistics. Money's huge. And we also need licensed people to make sure that our jobs are being done according to spec. That when the HVAC is put in, somebody's right behind them making sure that we're getting what we paid for. We've heard multiple times before that we've had projects here that didn't measure up, or we had problems 2 or 3 years down the line. Who was watching the ball? This is how we get there. This is how we assure that we get what we pay for, and our students and our staff get the buildings that they deserve. Does anybody have any questions, Bill?
Yeah, my only question would be, I mean, this is gonna cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, which I'm not gonna vote against. I just would suggest that as we go along with this, it would be nice to get some sort of concrete examples as we go along where there was financial benefit of doing this. I mean, like better purchases, or we got better deals and stuff like that. I think it's important that we reinforce, critically what you've said now
Absolutely.
as we go along. So that was it.
And regardless, if we would have done a different approach, let's say just do the build approach, we still would have had to have hired a company to come in and make sure that a project manager, a construction company, to come in and ensure that this project is on time and on budget. So regardless, we still would have had to have hired some method of getting these projects done. This one here saves us the most money and the guaranteed energy savings. Energy is something that's huge for us.
I like Mr. Zickert's idea of
Yeah,
bringing
absolutely.
specifics back, just, quick little updates at board meetings or sending out the board update. I think that's good. I think it's good for the public to hear why this is a wise use of money.
And we look forward to that, and that's already been a discussion that Dr. Shug and Ms. Armstrong and I have already had.
Great. Any further discussion on this?
I just want to provide some detail in terms of why I'm making this recommendation, if you will. Both helpful for both vendors that participated in this process and presented to us. Really, in my opinion, the fee structure, the pricing structure was, I would say, easier to follow, easier to calculate the costs with Nexus solution, not as direct forward that I could gather from McKinstry. Just a little bit of feedback from that, just a little bit, digging through the numbers a little bit more with McKinstry to get to the fee structure. If that process might be a little bit easier for the folks that are working in McKinstry, that might be a little bit of feedback for them for future, if you will. But I think overall, the fee structure was easier set out for Lexus Solutions for us to really figure out the cost structure on this. And so I think that's really, in my opinion, kind of how we got to this solution. In addition to other reasons, of course, that Mr. Winters pointed out, and others may point out as well. But I think that's, something to be noted for in terms of how at least I derived to my decision. So.
Thank you, Mr. Hura. It was not an easy choice for me. Honestly, both companies were very professional and gave great presentations, answered our questions well. Unfortunately, we had to choose one. But I want to thank both companies. I know an awful lot of time and work goes into these proposals. It takes time and energy to be here tonight. We do appreciate that. And wish you continued success as well. Anything further? Roll call, please.
Mr. Herrera.
Aye.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Aye.
Mrs. Haut.
Aye.
Mr. Zickert.
Aye.
Ms. Maybell.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Upcoming contract renewals and reports. Anything, Dr. Shug?
Nothing to highlight.
All right, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you for administration
All
reports.
right, I'm going to very quickly walk through some of the highlights and the superintendent comments. We have had a very busy month as we are looking already to the end of the year and actually starting to plan for next year. I will start with Caledonia. Are we up there, Ms. Hadley? All right. At Caledonia, we hosted Dr. Seuss's Cafe, celebrating Read Across America Week, with special dress-up days. Families were invited to join their children to read Dr. Seuss books. Lots of Reading Across America activities at many of our elementaries. Always a really fantastic day. to engage with our families and our students around the joys of reading. We had a breakout room at Central Middle School. This was thanks to a grant from the D100 Foundation for Excellence in Education, a fantastic organization. And our 7th grade ELA students at Central used problem solving and reading skills to break out or do an escape room activity. Really rewarding, lots of fun, and big thanks to the foundation that helped to make that happen. Our Buck Thunder team placed 2nd in the state. Just really such a fantastic opportunity for our students to work with Special Olympics. Our staff supported that. Just couldn't be prouder of this group of kids and the work that they did. Fantastic work. At the Sister City Student Art Show, one of our students was recognized representing Belvedere High School. In that art show, she created a mixed media piece following the theme of friendship going beyond borders. And at Seth Whitman, we had leprechaun traps, an annual tradition, I think, at Seth Whitman, where our 2nd graders had a lot of fun using engineering and design processes to build those leprechaun traps. Lots of fantastic things happening across the district, and those are just a couple of highlights. Any questions on that? All right. Strategic plan updates. I'm going to very quickly click into this month's presentation and highlight a couple of the things happening in these goal areas. Goal 1, Dr. Carson, anything you want to highlight?
I think it's of note that we're in assessment season, and so all the work we've been doing all year to improve our student performance is this is the time for them to show it, and so we're very excited for that opportunity. And I want to point out to a student from BHS point out that our high school team, I've worked with the ACT task force, and they've worked to incorporate some bell ringer activities, and they're calling it their hype approaches to help get everyone ready to take the test and do their best. So we're very excited to see our kids shine here in the next few weeks.
I've heard some feedback on that, and I know I gripe a lot about a lot of things sometimes, but I have heard we're really making an active effort recently to address some of those things, so I think it's very encouraging to see.
Thank you, Mr. Zickert. Goal 2, Dr. Johnson, anything you want to highlight?
We had our conscious discipline consultant out earlier this month, and they went to all 6 of our elementary buildings and just had a lot of positive feedback for the efforts that we've made to support students, understanding student behavior. And they were able to provide some great next steps. So it was very individualized for each building, but it was a great 3 days. The other thing I wanted to highlight was, I just pulled it up really quick. We had started with Daybreak, which is our virtual teletherapy that any secondary student can participate in at no cost to the family. We had received a grant for that. We had started that about mid-January, so we're 2 months in, and we currently have 26 students actively participating in counseling outside of school hours at no cost to those families, which is a great start.
Goal 3 is our Family and Community Partnerships. Our Family and Community Partnerships Action Plan recommended moving forward with a partnership with Donovan Group to do a communication audit. We are really excited about the work on that audit that has begun. They've completed an audit of our website, have met with our key communicators, and are going to be working with us to develop a plan to move forward with our communications in the most effective way possible. So we're really excited about that and the feedback that we've already acquired. Also continuing to look to expand our alumni network. If you are a D100 alumni, go on Facebook. Look us up, join that Facebook group. There is also a monthly newsletter that is going out to that alumni group. And goal 4. Dr. Ady.
Just a couple quick things. We are still maintaining a fill rate well ahead of where we were last year. We had a really rough February, a lot of viruses going around, a lot of sickness. But we survived it, and so far in the month of March, we're trending way back up again. So real happy with that. Our sub pool is as large as it's been since I've been here anyway, somewhere in the neighborhood of 212, with another 34 in the onboarding process. So really happy about that too.
And goal 5, Mrs. Armstrong.
Well, a lot of projects going on for sure, and the tech side as well as you saw tonight, lots of things happening in the facility plan. Very excited that the single audit came back with no findings. So that does, reiterate how we are spending our money and that we're doing that well. Thank you all for approving the budget amendments, which was on the agenda. If you didn't take a real look, I was excited to say part of that grant and part of what we're getting out there for was over $2.1 million worth of additional funding that we got through grant funding with increases. Megan does very well with getting that carryover money going, finding new grants, but we've all been kind of searching and finding, so I think we're doing a lot of good work, a lot of processes. Technology's kicking off the student information system interviews for that RFP, so we are just hitting the ground running every day.
That brings me to the end of our strategic plan updates. Any questions from the board? And that's it for our admin reports tonight.
One last
Oh,
quick thing,
yes.
because I know people are waiting with bated breath and don't want to miss this. The first one on there, the Policy and Personnel Committee meeting is canceled for the 20th. So all those that you were dying to go to that, you have a reprieve.
Thank you, Mr. Zickert. That is correct. That's all right. Next month, we'll get you.
Just a quick comment, that all that hard work, looking for that additional funding and grants, that's probably gonna become much more important. Several members of the board have observed the environment is changing rapidly, and there's a lot of uncertainty, so that work is extremely important and will be so going forward.
And I know how time consuming that is, so thank you. All right, I think that brings us to the end of our agenda here. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All right. Adjourn, Mr. Zickert. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.